Okay, welcome everybody. This year we are doing the export registration workshop slightly different, where we propose to give a quick demonstration of a revision of your export registration system. The presentation is to take you quickly through the export registration system and to go over what your requirement is to get your application registered. So you will receive an email from No Reply at ATGA. That's just basically a welcome email to say that the export system is open, and then you can access your registration. Once you do that, you will come up with the home page, which you can see here. Put in your username, which is your email address, and the password that you've used in previous years. If you've forgotten your password, click Forgotten Password, and it will send you to a section where you can add a new password and then come back to log in. I've set up a demonstration here. I'll put in the username and password. We'll sign in. And you'll come up with this page here, which will show the name of the person, which will be you. And you'll have this big blue box here, which basically says your applicant registration for 2023. Click on the blue box and you'll see your previous registrations in the previous years. For some of you, there might be 5 or 6 registrations there. It'll also have the date that the information session that was happening now. It'll when the registrations are open, which we'll tell you about shortly. Importantly, there is a closing date listed there as well. So once that closing date reaches, say September the 2nd, you will no longer be able to access or submit your registration. So it's important that you get your registration done before September the 2nd. First thing you do, 2023 pending creation, click on that. And this year, as per last year, everything has been rolled over. So you need to thoroughly check your details to make sure there's been no changes. If there have been, there are edit buttons where you can change your information. For example, if your applicant name has changed because you've changed your company structure, you can change that name there by basically typing in what you want to. You can change the ABN, but just check the details to make sure everything is accurate. The little red asterisks means they are the required designated fields that is compulsory for you to actually put your information in. Check your email to ensure it's correct. Additional contacts, that is the original one or the important one there, but if you have other additional contacts such as an office manager, etc., that you want in your system, you can add here. Come down to export options. This is what you need to take particular notice of. Obviously there's table grapes. If you have a vineyard, you need to tick infill packing. If you don't have a vineyard and you just have a packhouse, you need to untick orchard and just tick packhouse. But in this demonstration, we'll tick is if you are the grower and you have your own packhouse. You then need to select the countries that you intend to export to. So I'm just going to tick all of them here. But if you're only going to go to China, you can mainly just tick China. It selects any country that you intend to export, but if you don't tick it, you can't export to them. From rollover, you'll see your infill packing manager. That will be rolled over from last year. Just check that it's the same person with the appropriate email. Your crop monitor is the person that has completed the crop monitor training course that is run by the department. So type that person's name in. Again, this will be rolled over from previous years, but make sure that you have the correct person who's doing your crop monitoring this year. It is possible to put more than one name. So for example, if another person wants to do it, I'll just type in a name here. I can put in, say, Sam Jones as another crop monitor and put in the email. So you can have as many crop monitors as you want, as long as that person has completed the crop monitoring program through the department. Then we come down to your packhouse details. If you have your own packhouse, this will be the same TG number as your own application and -PO1. Put in the packhouse managers that will be rolled over again from last year. If there is another packhouse that you are using, such as your neighbours or your family members, and it's not your own packhouse, you then need to tick third party, but put their details in. It can't be your own because it's a third party. So only use third party packhouse if you are using someone else's packhouse and not yours. If you want more than one packhouse, you just need to click add packhouse and you can put the details in here. I'll just remove this because we're only going to have the one. Again this year, like last year, the maps have been rolled over. As per last year, everything is green, where the patch numbers are numbered, TO 1, 2, 3, 4 in numerical order, and they're also in verbatim down below here. Now you'll notice that there's no fruit or countries or number of vines. So this is what you must do to complete your registration. So none of this is rolled over, and the reason for that is because sometimes you change your block maps, you change the varieties, or you change the countries that you're going to. So you need to input that information. The process is click Edit Map. You'll see the application is invalid because there is details required to go ahead. There is a validation check throughout the system. If something is wrong, it will let you know. So I'm just going to remove the second crop monitor, and hopefully that will then make that validation correct. Now, when you go into Edit Map, you'll see everything is red. So when you see anything that is red, you know that there's missing information or we've done something incorrect. To edit your property boundaries, on the right hand side you have your headings: property boundary, patch boundaries, identified traps and identified packhouses. Whatever one is highlighted, such as property boundary, that is the section that you're in. That is the blue line here. If your property boundary is different to last year, you can just alter the boundary by clicking inside it. It'll turn white, and then you can just alter it, and then you can click Done. Important part next is patch boundaries. So we're now in this section. We need to add the missing values. Click inside a patch, and on the right hand side you need to input the information. So select the fruit, which will always be table grapes. Then select your countries. I'll just select a few countries here for the sake of doing this. So that's all I've done here. Your patch name or number is already there, TO1. You need to then put in your varieties. And again, you can just leave the 1 or 2, but it's all drop down box. Put in your number of vines. Just type that in. And then that is done. You can then save that, and you'll notice that nothing has happened at this stage because there's still other blocks that we need to complete. Click inside the next block, and you'll see the first one that we've completed has turned green, which means green means everything is there and you're all accurate. So we need to do this for each individual block that we have registered. TO2 is there, that's this block. Put in the varieties, we'll just choose crimson. Number of vines, type what the number of vines in, and try to be accurate as possible for that, and then move on to the next one. Same process. Table grapes, select your country, select your variety. TO3 has been highlighted there. Number of vines, and we come down to the last one. So you need to do this for every individual block that you have registered. I know some of you may have quite a number of blocks, but we've done this deliberately so that you are accurate in terms of the block information. So if you are happy with all that, you can then save and close, and you'll notice now that that is all there. And you can come down here and see that this is now filled in, where you've got your table grape fruit variety, the countries that you're going to, and the number of vines. Now the other thing that you may need to do, you can go back into Edit Map at any stage. You can look at identifying your traps. You need to have a trap, at least one trap in each block that you have registered. If one block is over 10 hectares, you need at least 2 traps, or you can just have as many traps as you like. It's up to you, but there must be a minimum of 1. To add 1, just add another trap and then just put it where you intend that to be. Then you need to identify your packhouse. You notice there's a yellow dot there that's been rolled over from last year. If that is the same, you don't need to do anything. But if you have another packhouse, or if you want to change the area where the packhouse is, you can just delete it and add packhouse and put it in. So if you've gone through that process, you can click and save, and everything is done. Make sure, going back up to your grower details, your meeting point is still the same. If you want to, you can add or change the meeting point, delete the meeting point, and then we can identify where a meeting point might be. This time it might be, say, around the back of the shed, and then we can save and close that. Once you have done all that and all the details are there, so make sure that you check that your varieties are in there, the number of the patches are in numerical order, the countries have selected, and the vines are in. You can then get to the stage where you can save and submit, and then the validation process comes up. If everything is green, that means you've done everything correctly and you can continue. If it is red, it means you need to go back and correct the error or the information that's missing. So when I click continue, the process of payment will come up. We prefer you to pay now, which is through PayPal. So that's just entering your credit card details. And when you do that, the declaration that the department wish you to sign comes up. You need to type your name as such, agree and submit. Once you have done that, you'll see that your registration has been submitted. You can close, and that has now gone to the ATGA for review. So that is the process of completing your export registration this year. Everything has been rolled over. You need to check the details in the initial stages. Tick the export options section, and once you've approved all that, make sure your crop monitor has completed the crop training course. Check your packhouse details. Again, if it's not yours, tick third party and put that person's details in. Make sure that you edit your map and putting in the details here, and you'll pay the registration, and that is all done and completed. If you sign out, you can sign out. You can then log back in at any stage. And when I log back in this time, I'll get that blue box again, and then you'll see this green box now, not pending creation. You can now see it's been submitted, and we have opportunities now to add your pest monitoring diaries or add any other information that you wish to put up there or upload to the system. Any registration will come through, can be seen as well. That's any information from DAF or from ourselves. Or you can view and add a pest monitoring diary. You can add an entry or add an entry file. Add an entry file is maybe a format that you have chosen to use, where you can just upload that where you've saved it on your computer, or you can add your own entry where you need to name it. We'll say this is September 01 pest monitoring. You can put in a comment section, anything you wish in there. You can create a diary, and when you do that, the pro forma template will come up with each patch registered, and then you just can complete the pest monitoring by just putting in the number of pests that you find. If you don't find any, you can put zeros and everything. If you find, say, a couple of moths, you can change that to, say, maybe 10 moths, and you can put it in a comment section, sprayed with, etc. So that's the information you can put there. Once you've done that, you can then save and submit, and you'll notice then that will be uploaded in the pest monitoring diary to the system. Now, the department are very keen to make sure that everyone does that this year, and they do a desktop audit of your registration prior to coming out to an audit, so they'll be looking for your pest monitoring on a fortnightly basis. So that is the export registration system. The applications will close September the 2nd. Thank you for listening. Any concerns or issues, do not hesitate to call me.